Have you ever been interested in community supported agriculture or CSAs? Well, today's guest on Growing Places is Wen-Jay Ying, who's the founder and CEO of Local Roots. Welcome to the channel, Wen-Jay.
Hi, guys. So CSA, like you had just said, stands for Community Supported Agriculture. It is one of the original subscription services out there. It came to this country at about in the 80s, and people can pre-order from one local farm. And then once the growing season starts, that local farm will bring his or her vegetables to that neighborhood, and the people that have bought into it can pick up their food. And it usually will occur from June until November is the season that you could pick up your CSA. It's a great way for people to have a direct connection to local farms, to support a local farming economy, and just to get higher quality produce. In a CSA, not all farms are organic, but they're all local. Yeah, so for the farmers, not only are they getting a set amount of money ahead of the season so they can reinvest that money back into seeds, equipment, it's guaranteed income for them so they know ahead of time how many people are buying their products versus having to go to the farmers market and hoping that it'll be a sunny day, that people are coming through, they're buying their stuff. This is really just secured income for the farmer. And it also allows the farmer more time to stay on the farm, to farm, versus having to maybe drive into the city, set up for 8 or 12 hours at a farmer's market, and having to staff that farmer's market. I used to work at farmers markets. Farmers will generally have multiple forms of income, like they'll set up at a farmer's market, but they'll also have their own CSA because each kind of market has its own pros and cons. So for a CSA, farmers definitely love that it allows them to have more time on the farm, and it is secured income. And so they can also have, they can have more security to also plan for their future. If they know they have a CSA and every year they have about 100 customers, they know they'll have the money to invest in something for 2 years down the line, for example. Yeah, so I think the word fresh, I even hate using that word because it's so vague. It's almost lost its meaning. So when I say freshly harvested, when you buy something through a CSA, it means that kale has been harvested either that morning or the day before or 2 days earlier. It is freshly picked from the soil or from the farm. If you're looking at kale or any vegetable that you find in the supermarket, it has, for example, lettuce, right? We get most of our lettuce in New York from California, and that will take about a week on average to get to New York. If you think about the drive from California to New York, it probably stops in multiple checkpoints along the way, meaning it might get delivered from California to a different state. Then it comes out of the truck, goes into a walk-in cooler. But every time it's changing hands, it's changing temperatures, which means it's changing the quality of the vegetable. And by the time it gets to your grocery store, well, then let's just imagine like how long is it sitting in the walk-in cooler at the grocery store or on the shelf before you're picking it up and bringing it home. And the reason why this is important to think about is it's not just, oh, the kale at the grocery store might look a little older and sadder. But it's also because as food is traveling, it is slowly dying. It's a living being. You think about taking any kind of plant out of its life source, which is the ground, the soil, it's slowly, slowly dying. And when it's dying, it's also losing its flavor. It's also losing its nutrition. If you're buying something that is local, freshly harvested, it is proven to have more flavonoids, which is what gives a vegetable flavor, and it also has more nutrients per bite. So Local Roots has really modernized the original CSA model. Again, like I am completely in love with the CSA model, and I want to just have more and more people find the CSA to be more accessible and convenient. So when I mentioned before that originally you can only really buy vegetables primarily through a CSA. Well, I thought, okay, well, like not everyone cooks vegetables. Some people mostly eat meat. Or what if you want to just get your eggs and dairy through a local farm? Which is why we at Local Roots, we offer subscriptions that not only have vegetables or fruit, we have veggies, fruit, meat, mushrooms, egg, cheese, anything that you can get local and sustainably made is selling at Local Roots. So not only is that more convenience and more accessibility for the consumer, but it also means that we can support more local farms. We support about a little over 20 local sustainable farms they're growing a lot of diverse products, which is really great. And supporting local economies is super important to us. And also the original CSA model, like I had mentioned, you're subscribing and pre-ordering for June until November. And it's really awesome to be able to prepay one time and never think about it again. But, everyone has different buying comfort levels with their money. Everyone has different financial situations. So we actually broke up the CSA season into 3-month increments so that you wouldn't have to put so much money up front to be able to be part of a CSA. Another issue that I found when I was part of a CSA is that if I was traveling or I couldn't make it to pick up, I had to just kind of forfeit the CSA or give it to a friend. But at Local Roots, you can skip a week by requesting on our website, and that way you're not losing out anything. We offer recipes every single week. We have a ton of recipes on our website and our Instagram because we really want to make people feel inspired all the time of cooking different things. We're actually going to be moving to a different model of weekly billing. So it'll even help more with the whole of how much money you're putting up front for a CSA. Every shopping experience has to be easy. Local food is no different than that. So to be able to provide people an all year round experience is really important and to get more people interested and more people excited about shopping local and supporting local. Honestly, one of the important things is that they're good people because we want to be supporting people that are, beacons in their community, that they're good people, that we like to communicate with them because our producers are really our food family. So we want to know that we're giving our money to people who also care about the same values as us. These farmers treat their employees well. They're paying them more than a living wage. They are all small farms, and a lot of them are family-run businesses. They have to be sustainable for whatever that means in their industry, meaning like our veggies are organic. We have grass-fed, grass-finished beef, pasture-raised meat. So they have to be sustainable. For our vegetable farms, we also really look for people that are practicing regenerative agriculture, which to us is really the next level of beyond organic. They should have products that are harder to get everywhere else, meaning we want to make sure that a farmer is growing some varieties that you can't find in the grocery store so that the experience does feel special. But we still want the standards, the staples, the sweet potatoes and the onions and the kale and spinach. They should have good logistics. A lot of what we do is really logistics. And local, obviously, we're called Local Roots. So our standard for local is within a 5-hour driving range of New York City. And that is important because the word local is just used left and right nowadays. And we want our customers to know that we have defined that word for our customers so they know how we're sourcing and that we're not just using the word local as a marketing term.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Wen-Jay. It's been great to have you on the channel. Folks, you've been listening to Growing Places, which is our series here at Urban Leaf, where we explore the stories of the entrepreneurs and innovators who are changing the way we eat. If that sounds interesting to you, make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next time.